Hello everyone, this is Ms. Zunick, and today we are going to go over a few of the properties of multiplication for review. I know Ms. Witten had already posted a video of the distributive properties, so we're going to go over the 4 other properties that you have learned this year. So the first one we're going to go over is the commutative property. So what that means is whichever order the factors are in, it is not going to change your answer. So in short, all you need to do is flip-flop the factors. So let's see a few examples of what we mean by flip-flop the factors. So for example, we have 3 times 4 equals 12. We know that 3 and 4 are the factors and 12 is the product. So no matter which order these factors are in, the product is always going to be 12. So we can flip-flop our factors. 4 times 3, and our product is still going to be 12. Another example, we can do 2 times 5, and we know the product equals 10. And if we flip our factors and do 5 times 2, the product is still going to be 10. No matter which equation you work, whatever order the factors are in, the product will still be the same. The next property we're going to review is the associative property. So this is saying no matter how you change the parentheses, so change the grouping, the product will still be the same. Meaning we have 5 times 2 times 3. Our parentheses start around 5 times 2. So we know 5 times 2 is 10. And then we bring down the 3 and we multiply 10 times 3, and our product is 30. So if we change the grouping on our problem, so we have 5 times 2 times 3, we change our grouping and put our parentheses around 2 and 3. So we start with 2 times 3, which is 6. We drop the 5 and we know our product is going to be 30. We can do another example over here. 4 times 3 times 3. We'll start with our parentheses around 4 and 3. 4 times 3 is 12. We drop our other factor, 12 times 3. We can solve this a couple different ways. So 12 plus 12 plus 12, we know is 36. All right, so let's do this. 4 times 3 times 3. We put our parentheses around 3 times 3. So we know 3 times 3 is 9. We drop our 4. 4 times 9 is 36, and our factors are the same in either equation. The next property we're going to go over is the identity property, meaning anything multiplied by 1 is itself. And what I call this property is the selfie property. It's like looking in the mirror. So if I multiply 4 times 1, our product is going to be 4. If we multiply 7 times 1, our product is going to be 7. Even if we would multiply 1,000 times 1, we know the answer is 1,000. And the last property we're going to go over is zero property. So kind of like the identity property, when you multiply a certain number by 1, it's always going to be that number. When you multiply 0 by anything, it's always going to equal 0. The product is always going to be 0. So if I do 10 times 0, the product is 0. If I do 5 times 0, the product is always 0. Even if I were to do 100,000 times 0, my product is 0. So take some time to review these properties, do a couple examples yourself. Know that the zero property always, always, always equals 0. The identity property is going to be a selfie. The number you multiply by 1, that is going to be your product. Going back to the associative property, You're just changing the grouping on the factors. No matter where the parentheses are, the product is always going to be the same. Now, I know the associative property can get confused with the distributive property because of the parentheses, but what I want you to take a look at is when you look at the associative property, there's two multiplication signs. When you do distributive property, there is an addition sign thrown in there. So associative property has the same signs, and distributive has one of each. Commutative property, you're flip-flopping the factors, and the product will always be the same no matter which order the factors are in.